Hello and happy Labor Day to everybody. And I just set my dog off. Any knocking noise, any banging noise makes her crazy. Anyway, so for tonight, we're not having a barbecue. Tonight, we are having pork tenderloin with roasted pears. And it's easy, which is good, because I don't feel like making a whole lot. Although I am getting my energy back. And we'll see how it tastes. Shall we get started? Okay, so first I read over all my directions. This is very important. You must always read over your directions. And of course, the first thing I must do is trim the green beans. Yes, we are having green beans again. I also have a pear that I'm going to be cutting up, a very large shallot, a creamy European style butter. Not quite sure why that's better than regular butter, but who knows. Chicken base, thyme. Time is on my side. Yeah, I can't sing. And 2 garlic, and of course my pork tenderloin. I am going to need olive oil, salt and pepper, cooking spray, baking sheet, and a large non-stick pan. I've already prepared my baking sheet. I'm also going to be using my wonderful mandolin. Yay! And scissors. Why am I using scissors? I'm using scissors because I found the last time I made the beans that it really did work very nicely cutting them as opposed to just, you know, chopping off the ends. Now, here's the thing about my beans this time. Normally they just say, cut the ends off the beans. But this time they say, cut the beans into about 1 to 2 inch pieces. Hello! Aren't we so thrilled? Anyway, so let me get through this pile of beans. Hang on, let me back up a little bit so you can see my beans. There they are. And let me get through those, and then we will move on. Yay! All right, so here, see, I cannot shake things without ending up spilling them. But here are my beans all cut up. So now I am supposed to core my pear and cut it into 1/2 inch slices. The pear. Let me get the tag off of it, because nobody wants to eat a tag, roasted or not. All right, let me see. Pear, be aware. I'm about to cut you. Now, how to core the pear most effectively. Probably cut it a little bit more so that I can get at the core better, kind of like you do for an apple, except that my pear seems to have been abused at some point. In fact, my green beans looked a little abused. My pear looks a little abused. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with this, because I'm pretty sure this is not what I was going to have last week. I hope not. See, I had a pork tenderloin for last week too, and yet that one didn't get made. So I don't think this is from last week, but it's certainly looking abused. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, so we are cutting down the pear. Come on. Trying to cut the pear, not me. That's always a good thing to try. And more bruising. That could happen in the process of sending it to me, because sometimes, well, you know, things look kind of abused once they get to me, like they got thrown around or battered. That's not Home Chef's fault, unless, of course, they didn't pack them right or they didn't seal them right. But it is sometimes the fault of the post office or the carrier, or, you know, it can be a number of things. My poor Pear is really not looking happy today. But anyway, we will do the best we can. Now, cut you into slices. Let's see. All right, we're gonna, I think, going to try the big this and kind of slice it that way. Ah, there we go. That's what I needed, I think. Well, maybe this one's better. Not quite sure. Yeah, that'll work, I think. Let me see how it'd be on this mandolin. Which one do you think is thicker? Or are they about the same? They might be about the same. Anyway, I will get back to you once I have finished slicing my pears. If, of course, I had managed to slice my pears without destroying my pears, this would be a good thing. There we go. Yeah, these pears definitely look abused. I'm not sure why. I decided to just go ahead and cut them. But my pears are really not, they're looking like they've, maybe this recipe was from last week and I didn't get it made, and now my pears are suffering for it. But we'll see. Anyway, I'll be back. All right, so as I said, my pears are cut. Now I'm slicing my shallots. Or shallot. I've noticed something about shallots, and they're unlike onions. Onions are like all in one. Shallots seem to be like two, you know, together, you know? It's like you've got two shallots in one. It's like they sit in together on each other. I'm not sure why that is, other than it's kind of cool. I know shallots have a stronger flavor than onions, just regular onions do. But, you know, I just think they're kind of a cool looking little, what do you call onions? I mean, their science name. I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm not positive. Anyway, let us slice. Okay, there you go. Those should be about right. There we go. All right, so now my shallots have been cut. Put them in my bowl here. Now I must mince my garlic and then stem and mince my thyme. So, we will use this one. Don't ask me why, it's just, you know, oops. Forgot my own rule. Okay, there we go. And this is what's called, this is the actual slap job. I'm not sure if it's better or just different from the other one. I kind of like the other one just because, you know, it doesn't fall apart. But then again, the fact that this one does will sometimes make it easier to clean. Of course, sometimes it doesn't. You know, in the commercial, they always go, and they've got this wonderful thing. That's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Where'd I go with my... Anyway, nothing is ever as easy as they make it on TV. Not even in the cooking shows. You know, in the cooking shows, they go, all right, now we're just going to put this in the oven. Bloop, it's done. You know, we're just going to fricassee or whatever this, and it's done. You know, it's never hard. Ever. And I always wonder how many takes it took to get it to be that easy. I don't know, maybe they're just easy. You know, if you're a master chef, it's easy. But watching Andy sometimes, which I know he's not technically a master chef, but he makes it obvious that it's not easy either. So, all right, so we've got our garlic mince. Now we must mince our thyme. Stem and mince our thyme. So, thyme. Have scissors. I just need a bowl to put it in, so hang on. All right, so stemming thyme is really quite easy. Because the stems are pretty solid. You know, it's easy to pull the little leaves off of them. So you just push them backwards down the stem, and all right. We've got a multiple stemmed one here. Interesting. I've never seen one multiple stemmed. I know that's probably a common thing, but you know, most of the time when Home Chef sends me things like this, they're all on one stem, you know. One stem, one stem. Okay. There's a certain amount of fun in, you know, stemming things like this. All right, so now they've all been stemmed. Now I must mince. I really have no capacity to shake anything without it being everywhere. Seriously, I don't. It's like, if I shake it, it's gonna be on the ceiling. And I'm trying to mince with the wrong scissors, so, you know. I think I just cut my bowl. Okay, there we go. All right, so my thyme is now minced. Now I must pat dry my tenderloin and season it all over with 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a pinch of pepper. So let's get that done. All right, so now that I've patted it dry, now all right, now turn you over. over a different paper part. And all right, so we have done that. Now we need to cook the brain not working, the pears and the green beans, so, and the shallots. So we will go over to the stove. All right, so now I have added my peppers, my green beans, my pears, my shallots, a little olive oil in the pan, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. And now I am to cook them until they are slightly charred. Not quite sure why charring things is a good thing, but hey, they evidently know more about this than I do. So we are charring them. I put it for 6 minutes, but if it's not charred enough, then I can always go longer. So after this is cooked, then I will move it to my pan here and just set it off to the side. And then I will sear my pork. And then I'll put the pork on top of it and put it in the oven. So that sounds kind of exciting, you know, kind of fun. I've never, like, cooked pork on top of pears, but hey, you know, I think more olive oil is good. You can very, very rarely have too much olive oil. I won't say you can't, but it's rare. So, I will get back to you once I have char. Alright, so char has occurred. I am putting it in my pan over here. They say make a single layer, but a little overlap is okay. So try not to get too overlappy. Now, put a little bit more olive oil in there. And the tenderloin. So, come on, you. All right, so now it should cook. It says 10 to 12 minutes. No, 2 to 3 minutes on the side. So we're going to cook it for 2 minutes on this side and then flip it over. All right, so now I put my pork on my apple, my pears, and my green beans and shallots. And now I'm going to put this in the oven for about 10 minutes. So at 400. Alright, so now I've turned off the heat because it's going to be 10 minutes before that comes out, and then I have to make the sauce while it rests, because apparently it has to rest. So I'm going to at least give it a little bit of time before I start, making my sauce. But while that's happening, I'm going to go make my water and put out the bread and butter and everything. So, be back. Alright, so now I gotta start that again. Our pilot light does not work on our stove, so there we go. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Alright, anyway, now let me get my pan out. Ooh. Come here, you. Come to mama. Or godmother, whatever. Anyway, looks good. See? Isn't that pretty? Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. Anyway, now I have my pan, and I've returned it to medium heat. Now, a moment to heat up. Add olive oil, garlic, and thyme to it. I hate being thwarted. Come out of there, thank you. Alright, so now I am to cook this for, maybe about 30 seconds and let it get aromatic. I always kind of cringe when I hear that. Let it get aromatic, because it kind of involves smelling. So, but I think it's safe to say that if it's sizzling, it's probably aromatic. Maybe. Anyway, then I add 1/4 cup of water and my chicken base, which is kind of like demi-glaze, only chicken. And then I cook this for 1 to 2 minutes until it gets thick. That's interesting. I would not have thought that it was going to get thick, because it looks, well, non-thick at the moment. But we will hold out hope. Alright, so here is the meal. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it does look like. Not quite the same. Ran into some problems in that it was not cooked all the way through, and I pulled it out of the oven, so I had to kind of warm it up, and as a result of trying to keep my plates from getting cold, I got them really hot. So we're going to have to be careful in eating them. But we will see how they tastes. Okay, it came out excellent. In spite of all the problems, in spite of all the insanity of trying to recook it, because it came out blood red at the beginning. And, well, pink is okay, but blood red is not. Okay, it's just, in pork, it just isn't. Beef, blood red is good, but in pork, it's not. Anyway, this one is an excellent, so I don't know when I'll do my next meal. It might be Thursday, it might be Friday. But whenever it is, I'll see you then.